Hello students, let's start with next important term, production. In my previous class, I discussed with you the meaning of the term production. If you remember, production means adding a meaning to the matter already given to us. This matter to us is being provided by nature, and what we are here to do, we add meaning as per our utility to this matter so that your want is being satisfied. So production, the another way to define this term, it is a process. How to start to define production? Production is a process for what? For the transformation of raw material to final good. The process where I am going to convert my raw material to a final good. What is a final good? Any good which is capable to satisfy your want, it is to be called as a final good. So in the process where this raw material is being converted into final good, that is called as a production. To continue with the same, to produce, we need so many factors, and in economics we divided all these factors into 4 parts known as factors of production, factor inputs. How many are they? We have got 4 factors of production called as factor inputs. The first factor input is land, labor, capital and entrepreneur. We will discuss them one by one. To start with, let's discuss first factor of production, that is land. What do we mean by land? In a common man's language, in your and my language, what is a land? Land simply means a surface. But how to define this term over here? Land means all free gift of nature. The first word is, it is all free gift of nature. Given to us by whom? By nature, I have just told you. So all the free gifts which is being given to us by nature is called as land. To add one thing, all free gifts we are not supposed to call them as land. Only those gifts of those gifts of nature are to be called as land whose supply can be regulated and controlled by human efforts. For example, what are the free gifts? Air, sunshine, heat, minerals, all these things are given to us by nature. But whose supply can we control? Of minerals, mines, oil wells. It's not possible for me to have any control over air, heat or sunshine. So those things will not be covered under the definition of term land. In land, of course, we are here to discuss all free gifts, but with this, whose supply can be controlled and regulated by human efforts. Human control is there, only those things are to be called as land. Land being a first factor of production has got certain features. So let's see what are those features of land. The first, that land is a passive factor of production. What do we mean by passive? Anything which is not able to do of its own. We need to put any extra, any foreign variable on that to get out the production. So that is to be called as an passive factor of production. And you must have seen, it's not possible the land is going to have production of its own. No, we need to put human efforts on that. So the first feature of land is, it is a passive factor of production. Second feature of land, land is immobile. What do we mean by it? That it's not possible to shift, to transfer land from one place to another. So land is immobile, and with this only, third is land gets rent as a reward. Students, these are the features of land. and on each feature we can have a question separately. So this you have to do as a major heading. Land is a passive factor of production, land is immobile factor of production, land gets rent as a reward. And the fourth main feature of land is supply of land is fixed, as it is given to us by nature, so it's not possible for me to change its supply. Whatever is given to us, we have to adjust with that only. So these are the major features of land. You have to learn these features. I hope they are clear. With this, let's discuss about a second factor of production. Which one is that? That is labor. What do we mean by the term labor? We know what are economic activities. To revise, economic activities are those activities done with the view to get monetary reward. So any activity for which a reward is there, for which a money is to be given, that effort is called as labor. So how to define labor? Any mental or physical effort. Any mental or physical effort. It can be a mental effort or it can be a physical effort, or it can be a combination of both. But practically we need both the things same time, mental as well as physical effort, done with what? With the motive. And what is that motive? To generate income in the form of wages. So that is called as labor. Any economic, any mental or physical effort done with the view to generate income in the form of wages is called as labor. Students, we have got various features of labor. The way we did about land, in the same way we are here to discuss about labor. What is the first basic feature? That land is an only, labor is an only active factor of production. What is the word over here? That labor is an only active factor of production. We have seen that we have four factors of production: land, labor, capital and entrepreneur. Who is an entrepreneur? I will discuss with you. But at present, out of land and labor and capital, what is labor is the only considered as active factor of production. It means if I have to carry out any economic activity, if I have to do any kind of transformation, any kind of production, it's not at all possible without labor. Labor has to be there, whether physically or mentally, only then it will be possible. So labor is an only active factor of production. Labor gets wages as a reward. What is the second feature of labor? That it gets wages as a reward. What is the third? Labor is mobile. It means labor can be shifted from one place to another. That if I am here in Chandigarh and it's possible that I am going to get a promotion, I need to shift myself from Chandigarh to Delhi, or I have to shift myself from Chandigarh to Bangalore. It means I am movable. I can shift myself from one place to another. So in that reference, what we will say, labor is mobile in nature. Another feature of labor, that labor differs in efficiency. You have seen there are so many teachers in our school. One has got mastery in economics, other has got mastery in chemistry, the other one has got mastery in maths. So it means that each one of us have got special skills. I have got skilled in economics, the other one has got in English. We differ in efficiency. Your efficiency and my efficiency are totally different. So labor differs in efficiency, and there is a chance to improve your efficiency. With training, with experience, with qualification, you and me together can improve our efficiency. Next feature of labor is labor has got less bargaining power. A very important feature. Labor has got less bargaining power. What do we mean by this? Because of the population factor. I am discussing with reference to India over here, As an example, you all know that India is an overpopulated country. So being an overpopulated country, if there is a one post, we are going to have 1,000 applications for that. Bargaining power means negotiation. And in India, first, we are not aware about our rights. We don't know what is the right package for us. And secondly, because of the population, it's not possible for me to negotiate, to bargain with my employer. I have to accept whatever package is being given to me. So in that sense, Indian labor has got less bargaining power. So these are the main features of labor. With this, we have got two special features of labor. What are they? The first thing, that labor is perishable in nature. Land is permanent, whereas labor is perishable. You need to understand the meaning of the term perishable. What do we mean by perishable? Vanished, finished, which have very short lifespan. Very frequently, easily, in a short period of time, they will get vanish. So in the same way, labor is called as perishable. Let's assume that I have scheduled my class on 14th of July. I have one lecture to be delivered in 9B. I fall sick, there is no light, there is no electricity, so I fail to deliver my lecture. It was scheduled on 14th of July, but because of one reason or the other reason, it was not possible. From my calendar, this day, this time has gone forever. It's not possible that I will recall that time, I will recall that calendar again, and I will deliver my lecture on the same slot. No. Yes, it is possible for me to deliver my lecture, but my schedule will get changed. I will have it on a new date, on a new time. So that is why it is said labor is perishable. It's a very important question. Labor is perishable. First reason, that labor cannot be stored. It's not possible. Yes, you can say because of the technological development, because of technology. Nowadays, in certain cases, like in teaching, I can store online lessons. So in that case, it is possible, but otherwise it's not possible. We have to see as a whole. So labor cannot be stored. As it cannot be stored, that is why labor is perishable in nature. The second most important feature of labor, that supply of labor. It is concerned with supply of labor. Supply for labor is totally different if I will discuss from other angles. Because labor is who? Labor is a human being. And human beings have got set of emotions. They have got emotion package. So accordingly, sometimes they are not going to think from their own brain. They will take the decisions based upon their feelings. So accordingly, labor and wages, because labor gets wages as a reward, so there is a very different kind of relationship between supply for labor and wages. I am writing an equation over here. How to read this equation? That supply for labor depends upon wages. Initially, in the beginning, more the wages, more will be the supply of labor. But after a certain period of time, if you feel कि yes, a standard is being maintained, or after your retirement, you don't feel like to work, so at that time, even in the market, wages are more, but you are not here to work, you don't feel like to work, so supply for labor will decrease. So what to conclude? That supply of labor is typical in nature. You are here to keep in mind this much only, that supply for labor is typical in nature. Today I discussed two factors of production. Hope it is clear.